Hey, welcome, everyone. We're live a smidge early today. Um, I figured, you know what? Rico's here. I'm here. Why wait? The holidays are coming, okay? Christmas is right around the corner. We've had Hanukkah for a while now. All those other holidays, if you celebrate them, great. Glad to hear it. But today we have an extra special show for you. My Christmas present to you all is going to be me talking with Rico here about the new Twitch policy changes and the subsequent rollback of some of those changes and how that affects us, what it signals going forward for the platform, and yeah, just the morality of it all. But first of all, Rico, how are you?
Just had the Red Bull, top of 5-hour energy drink. And I was tempted to add coffee to the mix, but I was like, it would be too much for my liver and heart. So I relented. But I love the caffeine because my Adderall isn't coming till a couple more days. So that's why I'm like, I gotta replace the Adderall with a fuck ton of caffeine to get even remotely equivalent of brain functionality. It's weird.
So it's odd. Like if I think I'm addicted to caffeine, I'll be real with you. Because when I don't have it, right, when I'm out of soda and I just have water, right, or I try to cut out soda, I always get so tired for like a week. So
Yep.
I've when I want to lose weight, also, I'll just cut out soda, just drink water. I'll lose like 10 pounds in a month. Um, it just doing that alone. But yeah, it's amazing how I can never like get my sleep schedule right without caffeine. I need it to wake up on time. I need it to kind of
Yep.
regulate
To stay
myself.
awake throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because when you're tired, your sleep schedule's all fucked up. You just keep falling asleep. At least me personally, my sleep schedule is abysmal when I'm off my Adderall or don't even have caffeine to supplement it. It's just because I'll just sleep all day, on and off all day. And the next thing you know, it's like 9 o'clock at night and I'm wide awake.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping all damn day.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'll fall asleep at like 3 in the morning, or not 3 in the morning, but 3 in the afternoon, and I'll just be like, okay, so there's 4 hours, and now I'm up, and now when am I gonna go to sleep? And it just perpetuates the cycle. It's crazy, but anyway,
But I
and
get you. Trust me, I get you.
luckily today we have caffeine, so I won't be falling asleep on you. But that's not even the conversation we're supposed to be having. But it's a good one. I wanted to talk to you about your ideas and thoughts on Twitch's policy in general. Can you kind of tell people what your initial thoughts, how you heard about it, etc.?
So, what I'm sure my intro to it was virtually the same as everybody else's. At that time, was that one viral tweet about that one Twitch streamer that was basically half naked. Um, and that's what made people look into it more, into what was going on, like how is this allowed, or whether or not this should be allowed. And there was the dunking, and this, that, and the third. That was my intro into it all, was seeing that. And I remember thinking to myself, um, I I can see where everyone's coming from. On the one hand, there is an obvious kind of uh, misogyny, I guess, underpinning some of people's critiques, and then on the other hand, there's a prevalence of excusing things that we probably shouldn't excuse with regards to like basically softcore porn being showed to teens and whatnot, and people monetizing that their sexuality as such going on with that, and I just found myself wondering. I was just like, I don't use Twitch as much, at least not nearly as much as I used to. I want to get back into using it, but that's a whole other thing. But from that and the many screenshots that I've seen that was kind of showcasing how prevalent that is on Twitch, I was wondering, I was like, did this is Twitch for kinks? Yeah, like did they have like a little section for you know, cam girls or some shit. Like what? I don't know.
It's a hot tub streams. They do have a hot tub pool swimsuit type section, and they've had it for a while. So this isn't something new. This has been a thing on not just Twitch, on the internet in general for a long, long time. My I guess my issue with it, my initial thoughts are one, I don't know if it's necessarily a problem for me personally. And what I mean by that is I'm not affected by it. My audience and the audience of the Twitch ethos, if you will, we don't overlap too much, right? And anyone's checking out me, they're gonna check out me for my political takes. They're not. I'm not competing directly with these people, right? So there's a lot of
So there's
people
no.
who are. Hmm?
So you're saying there's no chance I'll ever see you doing a hot tub stream?
That's not true. If you get me enough money, anything is possible. But what I'm saying is most people who are just scrolling through Twitch, they're not a if they're in the sections that I am, they're not seeing that, right? Or at least they're not it's not
They
side
shouldn't
by
be
side.
at least.
Yeah. But at the same time, there is something I think a little bit pernicious, insidious if you will, about this excusal of, yeah, as you put it, basically softcore porn on a site that's not meant for softcore porn. It's
Yeah,
not meant to be a place where you basically advertise your sexuality. And
yeah,
it, but at the same time, it's becoming that. Does that make sense?
it is. So the more you allow it, you open the floodgates. It's game over after that. That's what it's going to become in time.
And I worry about that.
Because the sex sells.
It does.
Whether people want to fucking accept that or not, sex fucking sells. It's a tale's old as time. You open the floodgates to allow more people, selling sex or their sexuality. That's what you end up becoming. Even if you have, other things that you were once known for, that's ultimately what you end up becoming, or at least being known for.
And yeah, it's what is that saying? You can build 1,000 bridges, but you suck one dick. Now you're a dick sucker, right? That's
Now
how it
you're
is.
addicted.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
You can make 20, 20,000 hours of content with deep political, philosophical leanings, but you do one titty stream and you're a titty streamer, right?
yep,
That's basically how these things work. Fair or not, it's not fair. Let's be clear, but it is how it is, right? Um,
yeah.
Now I wanted to talk to you about like the misogynistic underpinnings a little bit. Let's start with that. What are some of your thoughts on like what are some of the most outrageous kind of most misogynistic criticisms you've seen of these people?
The people who just straight up unabashedly just call all these women whores. And I personally don't like that. Like, and I want to be clear, just to everybody watching, I am not opposed to insults. You know what I mean? I can dish them out just as well as I can take them. You know what I mean? I'm all insulting people is fine, but there's a certain the line for me is when it's like really denigrating someone's character for the crime of simply being attractive. In this particular instance, like, because women get called whores all the fucking time just for showing their shoulders and shit, or having bigger breasts, so you see their cleavage. Oh, they're a whore. And, you know what I mean? It's shit like that where their only crime is having big tits and perfect opinions. I'm just kidding, but just having big tits and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's their only crime, or big ass, having a big ass, this, that, and the third. And I just, I don't jive with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
It don't, I don't like that. I don't like those criticisms that they're whores and shit. I'm just like, no, that's not I don't like that. If we're gonna criticize this, we can criticize this on plenty of other grounds. But to just call all these women whores, it's just, I don't know, childish and kind of disgusting to me.
It's hard because I do think that there is a reasonable criticism to levy at someone who uses their body to sell to children, basically, or even maybe more correctly, because I don't think any of them are seeking out kids to do this. I don't think that. I don't. Maybe one or
No,
two,
no,
but most of them probably not. But
no,
oh, go on.
no. I said, yeah, yeah. You're
Yeah.
right. I was
But
gonna
at the
say,
same time, if you own a bar, it is up to you to make sure that the people who attend your bar are of age. You check ID, etc. You don't just have alcohol available and that's it. So when you are on a platform that you know, because they're not dumb, these people aren't dumb, okay?
yeah,
They're well, as intelligent as any streamer ever is, okay? Let's
right,
keep it that. Um, they know that there are minors in their audience, right? 16-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 15 years. They know that, okay? If
yeah,
you know you are in a mixed space and you are using your body to sexualize yourself, to hypersexualize yourself in order to attract money and viewers and clout, again, I don't think it matters if you're specifically targeting children or not. What you're doing is negligent, in my view. It's like serving alcohol without checking ID. It's
yeah.
uh,
And they can't
it's a problem.
reasonably check who's their followers, right? Like I don't know what Twitch is able to do, what the capabilities are, but you can't check if
No,
your
no
audience.
way. Like,
I know you can check like in the broadly, at least on YouTube, broadly the algorithm will tell you like the ages of the accounts that are following you and whatnot. But other than that, you can't ID check individually
not at all.
who your followers are.
It's a
But Twitch and platforms could if they wanted to, and is the much bigger issue that a lot of people are debating right now because the individual streamers themselves can't check. They can't, but the platform could, and that's where the big debate. I know where there's a big debate on like, well, how do we do that? Should they even be allowed to do that? Do we really want them doing that type of shit?
it's multifaceted because I can see pros and cons to that. I don't know. I value anonymity on the internet. I value it. I
Yeah,
think it's a positive thing. However, that being said, certain things I think that you do need to have age gates for. Pornography
yeah,
is one of those things I think you need age gates for. I would argue as well, like certain types of violent content, you should have age gates for and things like that.
yeah,
Um, and we can bicker over what those ages should be and what the gate should look like. And there's some technical stuff we can kind of get into, but that's not interesting to me. What's more
yeah,
interesting to me is whether or not um, kids should be allowed in these spaces, right? Um,
yeah.
I
I
don't know
mean,
about you, but I
go ahead.
saw. Oh, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was 11 when I first saw pornography. I was 11 years old, and I remember going on AOL, right? Back when you had
Yeah,
those CDs you put in, you'd install. And my parents didn't know what they were doing, right? I didn't know what I was doing. I saw it mainly on accident. But no, there it was. It was just out there. Um, so I understand that we can't prevent it entirely. There's no system that would stop a child entirely. But how much? I guess I'll ask you this. Let me try this. You're king of Twitch. Do you allow titty streamers? Yes or no?
Um, yeah, let me see. Yes or no? Do I allow them at all?
Yeah, just on your
Yeah,
platform.
I'm gonna say no.
Why
And
not?
the reason why I say no is because if I'm going to apply some kind of rules of if I'm trying to cultivate a kind of um cultural identity of some sort, and the rules need to be uniform throughout, right? So I don't want dudes with their shirts off. I don't want women with their shirts off. You know what I mean? Like, the type of no shoes, no shirts, no service type deal where you're trying to cultivate a certain idea. Because, like, just an example, my local gas station, trying to show up there with no shoes and no shirt. You don't give a shit. It's a trashy fucking place. No one fucking cares. But if I went to a more I guess, fancier, classier establishment that does care about that type of thing, I don't fault them for it. It's just that's what they're trying to cultivate. So it would depend on what my sensibilities are, and even though I personally don't care, I don't want to make other people uncomfortable, and I don't want to attract certain type of people who, yeah, they could. It would probably be financially beneficial to me to attract the horny dudes with a disposable income, but I don't want that type of audience. I don't want that type of customer base. I don't want that at all. So yeah, I'm leaving money on the table, but that's not the type of culture I'm trying to.
Hello? Are you still there?
So my answer would be no. I would say flat out, there's a dress code. We're all going to adhere to it, and anyone who doesn't, sorry, it's not because I'm approved, because I know the type of audience I want. I know the type of customer base I want. I know the type of clientele content creators I want on my platform, and I want us to have, in my belief, some type. And maybe I'm biased because from military background, whole shit. You know how we are. You too.
Yeah.
You know how we are about having a clean shaven face, haircut, that type of thing. We care to some extent about grooming and personal appearance and all that jazz. We have that standard, that type of foundation that this is what a well-to-do person, a serious professional person looks like. So this is the standard we're going to uphold.
Interesting. See, I don't. I guess personally, I don't care about like the professionalism at play. Um, I think that it should be perfectly acceptable for people to look like slobs, right? To just come on looking like unkept, unshaven, anything, right? I think that's fine. Um, I think that I agree with you though that I wouldn't allow it, but not because of the professionalism aspect or
Yeah, yeah,
attracting the horny guys, right? I don't
yeah.
mind the horny a little bit. I guess the problem I'm seeing is to uh, the risk to the kids. And I know that people will say, "Well, no, on your stream you cuss and you talk about like all sorts of crazy topics like bestiality and things like that, and have debates on like Israel Palestine where they're bombing people and people are dying, etc." But I think there's a substantive difference between sexualization and violence. I don't think either are good, but I think that people are what's the word?
I
Sensitive,
think
not sensitive.
I,
Susceptible.
I think I get what you're saying. Like I think we have there of the two things that people develop unhealthy relationships to is sex with how people develop as a result of what they're exposed to. And I don't, and I so that's why I see that I don't want to. I understand it's always going to be out there. I am not a ban all the porn guy, but I am not going to participate in the cultivating an unhealthy relationship with sex, with the opposite sex, this, that, and the third, with minors. If we inevitably can't avoid, like, prevent minors from being on the platform at all, we just accept that we can't prevent it. At the very least, we're not going to participate in cultivating that unhealthy relationship with sexuality and the opposite sex or the same sex, wherever you swing.
Yeah,
But whatever the case may be, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna, because we know for a fact that people develop things like porn addiction and whatnot. Again, we know we can't stop it from happening because people are gonna fuck porn. Well, if I have a say in it, we're not going to be the ones being a part of the problem. You get what I mean?
we don't contribute to it. I get you. I get you.
We don't contribute to it.
I'm also another thing that bothers me about it. and again, I was raised religious, so a lot of this might be just my religious background, right? So I
Yeah.
admit to that I might have these biases simply because of my upbringing. But I worry that it's going to not. I don't just worry about like children and stuff like that, right? But
Adults
female
too
content
develop that
create,
unhealthy relationship. Yeah.
huh? Say repeat
I
that.
said adults can. I said adults can definitely develop an unhealthy relationship too. So yeah, it's
Sure,
not just the
sure.
children.
But where I'm going with this is I worry that it's going to kind of pressure female streamers into
Yeah.
being only a certain way or feeling like, whether it's true or not, feeling like if they want to be successful, they have to do a certain type of content that they may not feel comfortable doing, right? There are plenty of female streamers out there who don't want to do that. Who'd rather not? They'd rather not sexualize themselves at all. But because of the culture on Twitch, because of the hot tub streaming culture, because of the OnlyFans culture, because of all these kinds of, because we have made women's bodies into a commodity, they are, unsurprisingly, on Twitch, treated as a commodity. And I see it all the time. I try to tamp down on my chat when I see it, right? My mods do as well. But, like, I've had people in my chat, when I've had female content creators on who are just talking about like philosophical things or current events or politics. They'll basically start asking if they have an OnlyFans. They'll start talking about their bodies, etc. And
Jesus.
I don't think that Twitch's toss on this and the hot tub streamers are entirely to blame. Please don't get that twisted. But I think it contributes to it. I think it creates this culture. Like, it doesn't just stop in your chat, because a lot of the arguments I've heard from about this are like, well, hey, I can have my stream the way I want to have my stream, and they are just in my stream, right? They're just in my stream and it doesn't affect you. Why are you so worried about it? Well, I am worried about it because it does affect me. You're basically doing the equivalent of peeing in the pool, right? You're peeing in the
Yeah.
pool, and yeah, sure, it may be your own little personal space, it may be your own pee, but that it goes out
It's
to
part,
everyone,
yeah,
right?
it does affect everyone in small ways and butterfly effects. It affects. There's a culture in every platform, in every space, in every community. There is a culture, and I know I understand the kind of argument that basically is say it should just be a free for all. Let people do what they want to do. If it ain't hurt nobody, who gives a shit? I used to subscribe to that mindset. I used to agree, to each their own. But we don't exist in isolation from each other. These cultures cross pollinate, bleed into each other. And that's how you end up with people in your chat asking the female streamers that you have come on your show, oh, do they have an OnlyFans? I'm like, stop right now. I don't ask that type of fucking question. Why would you even ask that? What the fuck? They go searching
Well, you
for any
say
kind of
what the
horror.
fuck, like you say what the fuck, but it's literally uh that's kind of the culture, right? As you said, that's it. It isn't even rude in a lot of cases. They don't consider it rude. They don't know if they're doing anything wrong because so many streamers will just say, "Hey, this is what I have," right? And they will advertise it and they will play into it. They will lean into it. And it's just an expectation. $5 from Lesson Cell. Twitch exacerbate the issue by allowing this type of content on a gaming platform with the excuse of we don't want to exclude women. Um, that's
Mm,
stupid.
yeah.
There-
No, because
Go on.
I know you. I guarantee you know some female streamers who said this too. Probably said this to you as well. Like small streamers who would like to get at least a little bit bigger, who said that they've been tempted to do that stuff, to sexualize themselves more, and I can tell because at the end of the day, we're all chasing dollars. We're all trying to make ends meet. We're all trying to be at least marginally successful in what we're doing here. And again, it's why reactionary content, why a lot of people turn to reactionary content. and anti-woke shit, yada yada yada. People are chasing trends. You know what I mean? Chasing trends because that's where the money's at. And I don't want that type of culture to be rewarded. You know what I mean? Where people have to basically denigrate themselves. If I had to put it in the broadest sense, from my own personal morality, which, by the way, I know a lot of people be like, well, you can't impose your morality on me. If I'm in charge, yes, the fuck I can. And my morality is I don't want people doing what I believe is self denigrating themselves, embarrassing themselves, shaming themselves, just to chase the trend, chase the dollars. You know what I mean? I don't want people to feel like that's what they have to do to be successful on my platform. And unfortunately, like you said earlier, that is what they're basically, that's the culture they cultivated. And a lot of women will, I'm sure will tell you that they've thought it. They've wondered that they've, wondered if that's what they have to do to get a larger following. And that's sad to me. That's my take anyway. I'm like,
No, I get you. I get you.
going back to what you asked me before, if it was up to me, the answer would be no. It would be a flat out ban. It'd be like, nope, we're not entertaining this. We're not gonna try to have it both ways. We're not gonna use some flimsy fucking excuse about, oh, we're excluding women. No, there are plenty of women who will provide just as high or better, even higher quality content without showing their tits. You know what I mean? And to
Absolutely.
conflate the two is just insulting to women, I would think. And that was something to my intelligence. For you to try to tell me that this is to not allow women to be able to show as much of their bodies as they want, or do softcore porn on Twitch and all that, is to exclude women. Tells me it's just you don't think that highly of women. It also tells me you're trying to have it both ways here.
No, I agree. I do have concerns though, because this is something I'm torn on. Like the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I'm of two minds on the subject, right? Um, I worry that it's going to be a case of over censorship. So people will start getting dinged not for nudity or not for partial nudity, but for just wearing something that's too low cut or
Like a tank top or some
or
shit.
something that's again it's obviously not porn and they're not trying to sexualize themselves, but they're wearing something comfortable and they're going to get hit, right, by this kind of policy. I do worry about that because we've had examples of Twitch moderation in the past where they have hit and dinged people for wearing just comfortable clothing. And it's not me that gets dinged for that, right? It's women that get dinged for that almost exclusively.
Again, for the crime of having big tits.
Yep.
It's not an exaggeration. It's where you see this in like a lot of schools, public and private, this, that, and the third. The women with more developed bodies end up getting in more trouble and have to dress more conservatively because their bodies are just too tempting. Even though they're trying to dress conservatively, they're trying to dress, but they also want to dress comfortably. But what's comfortable exposes too much of them because they have too much to expose. So they start getting in a lot of fucking trouble. They're getting a lot of trouble for that shit.
Yeah, it's a it's a frustrating situation, right? And I can only imagine being a woman who is well endowed and having that frustration, wanting to just exist, but because of how you look, that's all anyone ever sees you as, or um, you have to take extra care because of that. It's just a very frustrating
Incredibly
situation. So that's
frustrating. Yeah,
my concern with these kind of policies is that because Twitch has never been good at this. It's always been
no,
a policy nightmare for people to
no
navigate.
platform, no platform has been good at this. Just to be clear, not one of
Fair
them.
enough, fair enough, but some are better than others, and Twitch is pretty darn bad.
Yeah,
Twitch is pretty darn bad. It's also very unclear what is allowed sometimes. So, for example, when I was making the title of this stream, I wanted to call it something catchy, like uh, uh, Twitch titties, the TOS discussion with Rico, or TOS thoughts, THOTS, right? I thought that would be funny too. It wouldn't allow me to put that as a title. I was censored from saying titties. I can show you my titties, right? I can show you a lot of my titties, but I can't put it in the stream title. That seems odd to me. It seems like there's like a disconnect between there's mixed messaging in what Twitch is trying to tell its content creators, right? Um,
Yep.
and you go and you look at the recent policy change that they did and they rolled back. They were going to allow, and I think it lasted like 3 days, artistic nudity. Did you happen to
Oh my
browse Twitch during that time?
I, again, this is where I started seeing the screenshots people were putting out of artistic nudity, and it was wild.
Yeah, like
It
they were
was,
just drawn hentai basically.
oh,
Uh,
it was just flat out fucking hentai. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it was wild to me. Wild to I considered uh just for the viewerships having a little loop of some girls twerking and just putting that in the corner of all my streams while I do my normal thing. Sound off and stuff. Just a picture of a girl twerking right in the upper left corner and having that just go the whole time and seeing if that affected my viewership at all, right? Um I didn't do it because again they rolled back the changes and I haven't quite
yeah,
dug into which changes were rolled back, if they just rolled back the whole thing or if they only rolled back a portion of it like the artistic nudity portion and things like that, because they also in that update decided to allow sexualized dancing like stripper poles. So
yeah.
it used to be you couldn't use a stripper pole to dance on Twitch, but then they allowed it. Twerking is another one. You couldn't twerk on Twitch, but then they allowed it. I don't know if those changes got rolled back or not, but it's another thing that I worry about because I know people who have caught a ban for twerking who were just dancing, right? They weren't twerking. They were just moving their butt a little bit. I don't know if that's I don't know if I trust Twitch to moderate that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I definitely it was that being that consistently inconsistent. I wouldn't trust them either. Um, and that goes back to the problem where it's like your crime is just being well endowed. Your crime is having being curvy. Your crime you can't do what other people could get away with, and that inconsistent application is unfair and frustrating. And from the perspective of these corporations, by the way, I want people to understand that a lot of these corporations, a lot of these businesses are largely amoral, right? They don't care. They're not trying to enforce some type of rigid morality on their platforms. They're trying to make the most money. And that means they're trying to walk a fine line between appealing to the broadest morality, whatever's the most popular morality, moral fucking standard they think is there. Yeah, they try to keep their finger on the pulse as much as possible to understand like where's the what's the most acceptable. What's basically what's most popular and what's not. Versus what makes them the most money and what'll lose them money. You know what I mean? That's how I want to anybody watching this who might lean more into the woke or anti-woke corporation nonsense, that's not a thing. These corporations are largely immoral. They have no agenda other than what makes them the most money. So they're trying to stay as, you know, what's the word? They're not keeping finger on the pulse. It's simple. What's a simpler word, basically? Along lines of
Toe the line?
whatever is what
Toe the line? I don't know.
toe the line. They're trying to toe a line.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do, and that's why I just wanted to explain to everybody that that's why things are so inconsistent is because they're trying to toe a very fine line. While not, it's hard to do, and I don't envy anyone who has to do it. But that's why I'm of the belief that it's better to just have a more easily communicated standard that applies to all, regardless of their body types, and have actual people moderating it, so they can make that judgment that this person wearing a full shirt, cool. This person wearing pants. I don't care if they have a fat ass. If they're wearing pants, you know what I mean? Oh, I don't want pole dancing. All right, no pole dancing. If you get to, and with regards to dancing, then just don't dance on stream. Because if y'all can't differentiate between twerking and someone just dancing a little bit, just no dancing. Fine. It's the safest
I
bet,
don't
no
like
dance.
that though. I want to dance on.
It's,
I don't like that at all.
if they can't, they clearly can't differentiate between what is what. So the safest bet is to just not differentiate. Just be like, all right, these specific actions are banned, and any variant of that action is also banned. Because trying to have this is okay, but this isn't this thing that is very closely related to the other thing, like working versus just shaking your hips a little bit. We can't tell. So just trying to have it both ways is incredibly inconsistent, and I would argue it does harm to the platform and to the people on the platform. Because they can't like say they ban twerking, belly dancing is okay. Wait, you know, which just an aside, belly dancing is superior to twerking. I don't know why the fuck twerking got popular, but whatever. But my point being is the inconsistent application because they're trying to do ban one thing, but say its variant is okay is the problem here.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with you that the inconsistency is a problem, right? But I think that the solution of just being more censorious is probably not something I'd be okay with. I think that we should be looser, not tighter. But there should be specific rules against things, right? I think we can all agree that what Morgie Pie, I don't know her exact name, right? But you know the one that went viral. What she
Yeah,
was doing was sexualizing herself, right?
yeah,
I think that we can all agree that's what happened. We may not be able, there might be more um, hard to discern cases that I'm not aware of, but her and her contemporaries, it's obvious what they're doing. Um, I think that should be against Twitch TOS. That
yeah,
said, I wouldn't be uh, I wouldn't be okay with them being more strict as as a pushback. Like I think there is room for hot tub streams, for example.
yeah.
I think there's nothing inherently wrong with a hot tub stream. If you want to stream in the hot tub and wear your bikini, cool. Um,
Yeah, what they're doing with those,
yeah.
which is obvious, what they're doing is they're playing a little game here, where it's like, to me, if if you're showing that you're wearing a crop top or some shit, then we're good. I don't care if you have big tits or not. If you're showing, and if you just happen to show your cleavage, but it's showing that I am clothed, I just have big tits. Cool. But when you do what she was doing, where leaving it implied that she's basically naked, that's we it's very like you said, it's very obvious what they're doing. Capitalizing on the implied nudity versus just showing that hey, I'm just wearing a crop top, dog. Like a push up bra or whatever. That's all it is. But no, we know what you're doing. You want your audience to think that you're naked, and that's what should be banned versus if you're just wearing a push-up bra, you just have then I wouldn't ban that. At least personally, I wouldn't. I'm like, okay, she's clothed. She can't hide, can't put them away. She's comfortable in the push-up bra, whatever, cool. But when you try to get away with the whole, I might take it, I might not be. But you like I'm titillating you. I'm showing, but you can't see
And
what's
I'll
up.
jump up and down and jiggle if you give me 5 subs or something, right? Like it's a
Exactly.
monetization of it on top of that I think makes it more
It's sinister.
insidious, right?
That's the insidious thing that I think, at least I would hope, they be able to sensibly recognize and ban and
The
subsequently ban.
I think there should be a place for that. Like I'm not like you said, I don't think banning porn is feasible. I think that there are sites that people should be able to go to that have that kind of content, right? Um, I don't think Twitch is a place for that, right? I think that
Yeah,
It,
But Twitch has to believe it's not the place for that.
but it
Well, I
doesn't,
mean,
because they make so much money off of it, right?
exactly. But Twitch doesn't. The people at Twitch, the ones running it, they are, like I said, they're only chasing the dollars. They're not. They don't care about the audience they're cultivating. They're only chasing what's making them the most money. And just an aside, um, the reason why I remember someone pointed this out. That the reason why, I'm just going to extrapolate further from this point that pretty much every market at this point, online at least, has is oversaturated and completely calcified. Right? There's on cam sites, this, that, and the third. Standing out is hard now. Standing out, maybe 10, 20 to 10, 15 years ago, that was your chance to make a name for yourself and stand out. But now this shit has become so much easier, more accessible to all, but now so oversaturated that people are fighting to stand out. And which is not necessarily a problem that can be rectified. It's nothing you can't really control the market, but it's one thing we have to acknowledge is what's incentivizing people to get more extreme with their behavior or move from sites where, like cam sites, where that's expected, to sites like Twitch, where it's not. They're trying to dip into another market that they hope is, much has much more people to soak up versus cam sites where the market's already completely dominated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where again it comes on. It comes down to the audience themselves to decide what kind of culture they want on their platform. What is the culture they want? And unfortunately, it almost seems like an equal. I don't know the metrics of who's on Twitch or on social media in general, but what I do know is that there are very loud people saying, on the one hand, it should be a free for all, and you're misogynistic if you disagree, and on the other hand, people who are more prudish saying, which again, I want to be clear when I say prudish, it's not a bad thing, it's not a negative thing. We're like, no, we shouldn't be allowing this people to just be fucking basically naked on Twitch. That's not cool.
Mm.
And I want to be clear when I was suggesting the whole censorship thing, just outright bans. I didn't support any of that. That's just my nuke option. If my
I get you.
nuclear option, if I have no choice, if I have to choose between one or the other, that's my nuclear option. But because the towing the line is just too frustrating for
We're gonna turn the
everybody.
whole car around, and we're not going anywhere if you kids don't behave, type of deal, right?
Yeah, I had that type of deal. I'm like, all right, fuck it, we're going home. We're just gonna eat at home.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than trying to toe some fucking line. But I don't expect everybody to be able to do it, to have the temperament to do it, to know what right from wrong, this, that, and the third. I don't know, and I don't expect it from anybody. But a decision does have to be made. We do have
Mm.
to at least come to a popular consensus on what the fuck is going to be.
But that's
Mine personally is that
yeah.
I don't think it should be a free for all. But I think it comes down to, because it goes back to what you said earlier, that we want to protect minors. I don't give a shit what adults do, because adults, if they form unhealthy habits with shit, fine, whatever, but you're adults, I don't care. It's protecting minors from these things. And this goes to the thing I wanted to say to you earlier, where as much as I also value anonymity, you can't have anonymity and security check. I like identification checks at the same time. Something has to give if we're to keep minors from this shit.
I I do agree. $5 from Zephyr Hash to say, does Twitch have a hard time understanding advertisers? YouTube got nuked for a few days for breathing wrong. Is Twitch being run by kids? Um, I don't know about that. I do know that there is apparently some disagreement within Twitch about how to handle this. I think that was apparent from how this recent rollout of the changes and then the subsequent rolling it back. I think that is indicative of a an argument within Twitch staff about how to handle these things. And I think this isn't going to be the final say. I think that they're going to continue to iterate on this because for whatever reason there is I know the reason. There is a strong financial incentive to allow as much as you can without the advertisers jumping ship. And
Exactly.
they like you said, toe the line. They want to ride that line. They want to figure out how extreme can we make it without everyone turning on us, basically.
Yeah.
And because you're right, they're pretty amoral. Though I will say, for better or worse, Twitch is, I would can say, more political than YouTube or Kick or Rumble or things like that. It has banned people for basically kind of what I would say are more political reasons than actual worthiness of being banned. If you were a big streamer, you can get away with a lot more, right? And not
Right.
just because you make money, but because you know the staff, right? There's a nepotism isn't the word, but it's akin to that, right?
Yeah. No, and that's an age-old issue. Is that the bigger you get, the more you can get away with, because they have a financial incentive to keep you around. A famous example is Steven Crowder on YouTube, who violated the terms of service pretty much the entire time he was on YouTube, but because he was so big, you know what I mean. They just kept letting it go. Smaller channels could not get away with a fraction of what he did, and this is just a regular thing. You know what I mean? That one is old, and my solution is the same as it's always going to be. I don't give a shit how big you are. Hold apply your rules consistently, because the inconsistency, it may not scare it. Let scare advertisers away too. If they see they can't trust you to consistently apply your rules and run the risk of advertising next to X and X political take that our company doesn't want to be associated with, or titty streamers, or this, that, and the third. Um, like you said, it comes down to towing a line without scaring away anybody, but you ultimately end up scaring away people anyways because of that inconsistency, right? And yeah, when I say, yeah, I get what you had said before with regards to being amoral versus still in having taken some lines in regards to politics. I think the most recent one I saw you call out was about Kira chats getting banned and whatnot, and I was like, yeah, I agree. It's just like, well, are y'all political or not? You guys are you good? You guys have a moral standard or not? Do we believe in censorship or don't? Like, that inconsistency, that uncertainty is extremely frustrating, and I my salute, like I said, because I don't trust any platform to be able to toe that very fine fucking line. The safest bet is pick a line, pick a lane, and just fucking stick to it. No matter who you piss off, cultivating with who you can, keeping who you can. Yeah, you won't make all of the money or as much money as you possibly can, but I think people will be a lot happier with consistently applied
They don't
standards.
care if we're
But
happy.
yeah, but you also have to know your audience, know what you have, because you could just nuke your whole fucking business like Tumblr did when Tumblr tried to fucking ban porn, and I was just like, "Are you serious? If you ban porn on Tumblr, like that's it for Tumblr." Like Tumblr is one of those examples of where it's like banning porn nuked Tumblr's value entirely. It pretty much nuked the audience, the fans, everything,
Could
and
it?
made Tumblr virtually worthless. So
Could
it's
it?
like that type of deal where you have to know what you
Mm.
cultivated before you make that type of decision.
But given that that's the case, right? And I'm not 100% up on the Tumblr situation. I know it only in the broad strokes. I worry that Twitch is getting to the same point where if they do ban this kind of content, they won't be financially viable at all, right?
Yeah,
They simply won't. And because I got my start on Twitch, right? I'm on YouTube now too, and I'm kind of on Kick, right? I don't have very many viewers on Kick, but um, I worry that it's going to affect, like, if Twitch goes under, it does affect me. It is my livelihood.
Yeah.
in a real way. So
It will affect a lot of people if
yeah,
Twitch just fucking went under because of one bad decision. You'll
well, this
destroy
would,
a lot
to
of
be
people's
clear, to
business.
be
Yeah,
clear, it wouldn't have just been one bad decision. They made
yeah,
several bad
right.
decisions, right? But if this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, that is a problem. It is it is a very hard situation to kind of unravel or unpack because you have so many variables at play. You have uh so much contention in this, right? I know there's a lot of people in my chat who don't think there's any problem at all with titty streamers or e-thoughts or anything like that, and that's fine. I don't think there's any problem with them in the proper venues, right? I don't think there's any problem with a woman who chooses to sexualize herself in the proper venues, and that's the thing.
Same here. Same here.
I don't think, and how I get to that position is simple, right? If you are going to allow this on Twitch, right, you recognize that there are going to be minors, more minors than would be in a normal streaming space, just because of how this came, like the gaming, its origin is just in TV, etc. Um, and given that, I don't know if we can really do it morally. I would absolutely judge the people who are doing this on Twitch. I think that when it comes to things like Kick might be a different story simply because it's so new and it's already known as the extreme platform. I don't know enough about Kick's policies though to really make it, or its age gates or anything, right? To really make
Look,
any kind of claims there. But I know on Twitch the age gates just aren't enough to make me feel comfortable. Just real quick before you
I got.
go,
Yeah, I want to let you know I have a question for you. Then right after that.
sure. I'm gonna get to the person who paid me $5 to ask the question, and then we'll get to your
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Back to your previous point, and this is $5 from Jenny Burns. Thank you, Jenny Burns. Back to your previous point about how chatters view guests. What responsibility do you and we, as mods, have in curtailing inappropriate chats and chatters? Because we talked about a little earlier, we talked about culture and how it doesn't stay with us; it spreads out. So, what I guess responsibility is the word, do I have to curtail inappropriate comments? I don't mind if you don't like a guest. Like if people are making fun of Rico right now, I don't care. But it's how you do it, right?
Oh,
If you are over sexualizing something, like if you started calling making racial jokes about Rico, there would be a problem, right? But if you're just saying
yeah,
he's dumb or ugly, okay, whatever. But if you started like making jokes about like, oh, I better go lock up my bike or something, that would be a problem.
type of jokes. Yeah. No, I had an instance in my audience where I had a female on with me. I was gaming with her, and someone in my audience was like, "Ah, you have a really sexy voice." I straight up told him, "Don't ever say that shit again, buddy." I straight up. He's still in my audience. He's a regular, but he hasn't done it again since I said that. He apologized and everything, but I told him, I'm like, we don't. You can compliment her saying she's great, like the substance of what she's doing, but don't get weirdly sexual about it, dog. Don't do that, because I don't want that in my audience. I say the
What would you do
responsibility.
if she said that was okay? Like, and I'm just asking you as a
She,
content creator. So say you were in that
oh yeah,
situation where someone makes a some kind of sexual comment and they read it and they're like, no, allow it. Would you allow it still or would you curtail it?
I don't want that in my audience. So I would be like I would say, even though I know you're comfortable with it, I'm not. I don't want that type of comments in my comment section. I don't want those type. I don't want anyone feeling like they can just say that because you may be okay with it. Then another woman comes on because I've had multiple women on my streams with me, and they may not, but they have since because one woman gave them the green light. They think they'll start to think other women will give it to them too. And I'm not gonna play that game where it's just it depends on each person. No, I'm just gonna flat out say I don't want that for any of them. That hey, that's if you haven't figured out yet, I'm the type of guy that just picks a lane and sticks to it. I'm not trying to jump
Makes sense.
between one person says okay and the other says it's not. I'm just gonna make a decision and say it's not. I don't want it. You just don't do that again. And that'll be the last time I hear about it.
Yeah, no, that
And
makes
then,
sense.
yeah. You know what I mean? So the responsibility depends on what culture you content creator, and your mods are trying to cultivate. What do you want? How do you want your channel to look? How do you want your audience to be? Because a lot of people, I know this was a big debate a couple years ago, because a lot of people refused to take responsibility for their audiences that they cultivated. I'm like, no, you do. We as content creators, we do have a responsibility about the culture and audience we cultivate. We have control over that. We can decide how this shit's gonna go out. So it just depends on you, the content creator, and your mods.
Makes sense.
What do you want?
Speaking of what you want, you had a question for me.
You did. This question's for you. Is let's say the age gate doesn't go far enough for you to feel comfortable with, how Twitch is, moderates things as it stands. Let's say we want to implement um age verification. Like, I mean, like, legit age verification. I need to see you need to
Hold up the
upload
ID
a
next to
picture.
your face and they check it. Yeah,
That
yeah.
whole, I mean, that whole deal. OnlyFans does that, by the way. You know what I mean? I know from experience. Don't ask why.
No, that's okay,
Anyways,
man. No shame.
they they do that, and I'm okay with that. I personally am, but I have to ask: do you think that would nuke like, do you think would a lot of content creators would jump ship if they were
Yes,
required?
absolutely.
Not just content creators, but audiences as well would just jump ship if they were required to, verify themselves, their ID, actually verify their identity. You just say yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of viewers would leave. I think a lot of content creators would also leave. I think that is
That
I
would be
get
the
annoyed.
self-destruct button.
I get annoyed when I have to verify my phone number. I'll be real with
Right.
you. I get annoyed because I've had to do that in a couple Discords and sometimes in Twitch chats, right? There's been Twitch
Yeah.
chats I've tried to chat in, but it says, "Oh, you need to be verified to chat in this chat." So, give us your phone number and we'll send you a text and put in the code and things like. I don't want to do any of that, right? That is an obstacle between me and just browsing content that I simply do not want. Like, so I get you that it would be nice if there were more age gates and things like that. But if that were going to be implemented, I wouldn't want it done across the board. I would want it done for specific types of content,
Okay.
like the titty streamers, and they would have
18
to
plus
title
people who
it.
label themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, they would not only have to have the appropriate title, but if someone's going to go in there, they would have to have some kind of age verification thing. Um, I don't have a problem with that, but if they I don't trust Twitch to just implement it in that area. I think they would just do it across
They
the
they would
board.
do it. They would do it across the board. They wouldn't do it case by case. They would absolutely do it across the board. And the reason I ask you that, because as much as I support that level of age verification, I also agree. I think it would be like pushing the self destruct button. I do. I also thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, because I've given it a lot of thought. It would be great. I think it would do the thing you're trying to do. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to fucking do it.
Absolutely. $10 from Artemis Val to say this. To be clear, the culture of mods to censor what chatters say things that aren't illegal has ever shrank the range of acceptable ideas as it only served to craft the news for which you are given. I mostly agree. I
Yeah.
try to make sure that my mods allow as wide a range of ideas as we can. There are lines, though. There are limits, and some things just personally annoy me. So it's it's a kind of my house, my rules type of deal.
Yeah.
Um,
That goes for all of us. My
yeah,
house,
yeah.
my rules, dog. You can suck it up or get the fuck out of here, dog. That's your choice.
No, I agree. I agree. And another chatter's asking, Jenny Burns is asking, okay, so without age verification, how do we keep kids off of titty and gambling streams then? You don't allow
We
titty and gambling streams on the platform. That's what you do, right? Like, because age verification,
it's one or the other. You have to choose. Yeah.
yeah. Listen, I just added suck dick as a permissible term. Okay, fair enough. Look, I think that there is again, I don't mind these things if there was better verification, but there isn't, and so we should not allow them, because I wouldn't want gambling streams to come back either. For a
Yeah,
while, Twitch allowed gambling. I think it was a good thing that they put a stop to that. I think it's a good thing that they banned gambling streams, because again, you cannot control what minors have access to here, not in any meaningful way. And so allowing them to um, pedestal, to platform, to what's the word, to idolize um, gambling as a way to make money, it's not going to be good. The risk is too great. The same
yeah,
thing with titty streaming. And again, I understand that there are different harms here, but I do think it is a harm when kids see women as sexual objects. I think
yeah. We don't want that.
it,
We shouldn't, at least.
well, yeah. I think that there is a conversation though that is interesting between what I want versus what the streamer themselves want, right? Because there are plenty of streamers, and I wish they would come and talk to me about it. I would like to talk to a woman titty streamer who disagrees with me. I want them to come on and argue their point, because me and you, we're the choir, right? We're preaching to each other. We seem to be on the same page here. But I'm curious to someone who does this what they think of the new TOS and then the rollback of the TOS and all that. Because for them, I can't imagine it's anything but frustrating in their shoes,
Yeah,
right? Because they're saying, okay, we're going to allow this now. So you start doing it, and then all of a sudden, boom, you can't do that anymore. I think that must be terribly frustrating. And so if there are any titty streamers in my audience who would like to talk to me, please reach out and we'll set something up. But
a-
yeah, go on.
absolutely.
Uh,
I hope you get one. By the way, I do hope one
yeah,
of them reaches out. I really do.
I do too. Yeah,
I will.
because
I will watch that.
Toby One Kenobi is saying this. What if a woman wants to be sexualized for a bit? Because there are some women who do. They enjoy it. They find it fun, right? And so they want to go and they want to be sexy on stream, right? And I don't think that, and I worry, and this is why
What?
again I'm on two minds of this. I'm worried that we send a message that they're unwelcome, not women in general, but sexuality. I don't know if that's a good thing either. Does that make sense?
It does, and I mean it's in the same. It's in the same vein as the people who like to masturbate in public because they want to get caught. They want to be watched. You know what I mean? It's like I don't give a shit if you
I don't
enjoy it.
know if it's the same thing as that though,
No,
right?
it's not. It's not beat for beat for same, but it's the same. It's the same. I would say foundational argument of, well, what if they're okay with it? Are we right to ban them? Like, so what you asked me earlier with the person who had said that the woman had a sexy voice. What if the person okay with it? Ultimately, the person who controlling the platform, or our audience, or our servers, whatever you want to fucking call it, we're in charge. We have to make a decision. Some would have we can do case by case. I trust you to be able to handle things case by case in your server, in your audience, and such and such. But let's expand that to millions of fucking people. Do you still think you'd be able to do it? To handle things case by case?
it's it's hard. I don't know if it's the old question, safety versus freedom, right? How
Yeah,
safe do we want to make it for people? Because you can make people entirely safe, right? And you could have such a censorious kind of terms of service that allows, like, we could swear, we couldn't talk about anything remotely controversial. You could put the safety barriers up so large or so tight that it strangles you. And I
yeah,
worry that more and more, not just on Twitch, but in general, because we talked about the first time we talked about this, right? Censorship, right? I worry that the slope isn't slippery. We're it's like it's inevitable. It's an inevitable
it's inevitable.
slide
Yeah,
that we're making towards more and more censoriousness, both on Twitch and off Twitch. and I worry that that's going to it's going to lead to some bad things. I think
Yeah,
it's already happening in colleges. I think that people are losing their jobs, losing their scholarships, all that, for their
yeah, I don't
political
agree with that
opinions.
either.
It's a problem, right?
I, I do have a question for you then. The last question for me on this note. Dumbass cat, I swear to God. I knew he was gonna make that jump and regret it immediately. Dumbass. I knew it. I was just like, don't do it. Don't do it, Polly. Don't do it. And she did it, and damn. Anyways, the question then, let's say the external factor that we've not talked about here, the responsibility of the parents. So what a lot of people did to meet everyone in the middle with regards to like video game content was the ESRB ratings. Ultimately, the labels are fucking there. It's telling you rated T for teen, rated R, rated M for mature, rated A for adult, whatever the case may be. But whether or not the child plays this game depends on you, the parent. So the big question there is, should we do it no different than like how the ESRB does things, and just say like, look, we put the ratings there. We have we have we have big just neon freaking signs saying this is not suitable for anyone under the age of 18. But the rest is on you. If there are minors watching this shit, it's because their parents failed them. Would that be right to say?
Yes and no. I think it's a way to excuse the platform of responsibility, right? It's like if you had a, like, I'll use this example again. If a child is drinking at a bar when they're 13 years old, several people have failed that child.
Yeah,
Not just the parents, because yes, why is a parent letting their 13-year-old kid in a bar drinking? They shouldn't do that. They should know better. They should keep their child from doing that. However, the bar also has a responsibility because not everyone has good parents. Some parents
yeah,
are shit. And I think that we cannot absolve ourselves of responsibilities by saying, "Oh, it's the parent's problem," right? Or it's the parent's fault. That might well be true. But if I see a child doing something that's going to hurt them, I don't I don't call their parents, right? Or
right.
I might call their parents as a first thing, like, do you know what your kid's doing? Come get them. But if it's a thing that's immediate, I just if I saw a kid playing in traffic, right? Basically, like in the middle of I ninety
You
five,
gotta
just
wait
going
for the
around.
parents show up to come stop them. You're gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna go stop them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and get them out of the road first and foremost. Then I'll probably call their parents. Then I'll probably have words for their parents. But I think that like because this is the argument that I guess he's a pretty big YouTuber. I didn't know this at the time when I got in an argument with him on Twitter. But basically, that was the argument that this man made. Hutch, I believe, is his name. I still haven't checked
Yeah,
out any of his content, but apparently he's got like 300,000 Twitter followers, so he must be fairly decent. Um, he basically was arguing that Twitch already does enough by having it in their terms of service that children need to be supervised while on this site. That's not enough. That's like
yeah,
an honor system. It's not enough. I think that trying to excuse Twitch or the individual streamers from engaging in these things by saying, "Oh, the parents should just keep them from this." It's the parents' responsibility. That's true, but it's also yours. You can have multiple layers to responsibility here. And I think that it is the height of negligence and just apathy to say, "Oh, that's just someone else's problem."
yeah. That note though, it's like the way Twitch is handling it, a lot of platforms, but I would say especially Twitch. I want you to imagine if, because again, we have the ESRB ratings for video games. Imagine if, for some way, the gaming companies found out that a minor bought a game that's rated M for mature, and then just subsequently the
You'll get
gaming
fined
companies
for
or the
that.
government,
If you
whoever,
no, this is
they
a real
found
thing.
out and then they punished them. So, what's
So
that?
if you're like Walmart and you
Yeah,
sell a child a M-rated game, you'll get fined, right? Maybe not. I think you'll probably
They
get
do actually
fired
punish that.
and the company will get fined for doing that because they're
Yeah,
not allowed to. At the point of sale, right? At the point of sale, they check ID. And I remember, I think I was like 22 and I was buying a game at Walmart back when we actually bought physical copies of games and shit. So a
yeah,
while ago, okay? Um, and I remember being annoyed because he wouldn't sell me the game because I didn't have my ID on me. And I remember being very,
yeah.
very annoyed by that.
I got ID too back in the day. I don't do that. He don't even do that anymore. He's
Well,
like digital. So the thing was thing with digital copies
yeah,
in the current age. Back then, yeah, I remember an ID too. These days, you can buy digital everything, and the only verification is if your account says you're 18 or older.
yeah, yeah,
So how do you like? Imagine if they were able to catch that too somehow. What the that's basically what Twitch is doing, and it's just it would be very stupid, in my opinion. In my opinion, and I just like what do I lean more towards the just the middle ground of the ESRB rating type thing. You put up a sign, and if the parents ain't fucking stopping them, then because I think the personal responsibility depends on the morality of the streamers and whatnot. Of course, like I said earlier, we do have a responsibility to it, but we shouldn't be punished for not upholding the company's standard. You know what I mean? Like, because so there's the company standard, your individual standard, and the parent standard. Those are the three factors that play into what the fuck who's gonna get a hold of what. I shouldn't be punished for uh, a minor being in my audience, even though I've made every stride to discourage minors from being in my audience. I have personally discouraged and straight up told that I don't want no minors in my audience. I have labeled all my videos as age for 18 and older, like not suitable for kids. I have taken the steps to prevent minors from being in my audience, but for some reason, a 2-year-old got in my audience and became a fan of my show. I'm not exaggerating. I should not be punished for that. But that to me is a failing on the parents. I'm like the parents shouldn't even didn't even give a shit. I actually went that mile. I actually asked them like, "Can I talk to your parents?" Like, I kind of want to. Like, it was off stream. I'm like, "Can I talk to your parents? I really want to tell." Like, do you know your kid is on my like actively on my channel? And the parents didn't care. They said I seemed fine. They checked my channel, said I seemed fine. I'm like, you can swear a lot, right? I talk adult things, all that. They just didn't fucking care. And I was baffled by that. I'm just like, I can't stop him. I'm not going to block him and ban him. That just, I don't want to hurt this kid's feelings. But at the same time, I'm like, not care. So I guess my big thing is just like, I don't think the streamer
would you
should be
accept a
punished.
donation from him? You won't ban him, but say he oops, sorry, hold on. I pressed the wrong button and
I
now you disappeared.
I did get sent a donation from him, and I sent it back. I sent that shit right the fuck
Okay.
back. I was like, no, I don't want nothing from you. I accept that. I will usually accept that you are a fan of mine, but I'd be damned if I take anything from you. I couldn't do it. I don't have no fucking way. I'm not taking a little kid's fucking responsibility. I'm not doing it.
That's fair. Um in my like there's no way I can really check on Twitch or on YouTube, right? I don't know who's a minor or not. But if I find them in my Discord, and sometimes that happens, sometimes someone will say, "Oh, I'm 16." They get banned from my Discord. And it's not a
Okay.
personal thing. I don't dislike them. It's simply it's not really the place. There has been a couple exceptions. Um, Fellow content creators. There is a 16, 17-year old who makes out YouTube videos. He makes YouTube videos. He puts out content, right? Dingo, I think is his name. I don't know if you've heard of him. Um,
Dingo.
yeah, I allowed him.
Is that is that the kid who wears the astronaut mask or no?
I don't know. I haven't watched. He does a lot of Destiny videos. He's basically a Destiny video guy. Um,
Never mind.
fair enough. Um, I think that there are room for exceptions. Okay. That said, there has to be some kind of like a reason for the exception. There has to be some kind of extenuating circumstances that allows you to make that exception. I agree with making exceptions on certain cases, but for the most part, if you're just a rando and I find out that you're 17, come back when you're 18 and you
Come back
can
when you're
hang out.
18.
You can hang out and it's nothing personal. But I do like that you won't accept money. That I think is the bare minimum line for me, right? I
Yeah,
would judge someone who would just take money from a 10-year-old, right? Like that's
exactly. That's just pathetic.
and people
I'm
will
not.
say to steelman this, and I want to be clear to my audience, I'm just going to steelman this. This is not my personal beliefs. This is just the argument, right? Kids aren't uh stupid. I mean, they are stupid, but they're growing into adults. And so, if we want them to behave properly when they're adults, we have to give them certain responsibilities and privileges as they age to allow them and accept them for making decisions for themselves. So, if a 10-year-old got some money for the allowance and they wanted to use a portion of that money to donate to their favorite streamer, what is wrong with that? Why shouldn't they be allowed to make that decision with their own finances?
And they should be allowed. I would say. Again, let me use that 12-year-old example. I'm obviously not going to say his fucking name or anything like that, but let me use him as an example. Kid, I talked to him extensively. Definitely a smart kid. But me as an adult, I am not so fucking. I have accepted gifts from my audience. I got gifts coming on the way now. But if anything came from him, I would just continue to send it back because even though I respect his decision and independence and intelligence to be able to, make the conscious decision to send me money, I cannot in good conscience do it. I have no logical basis for that. I just don't feel right. I don't want money from a kid. I don't. I know he's work. He told me how he. I asked him, how do you get your money? He gets it from allowance and doing little odd jobs for neighbors and shit. And I'm like, I did that shit too as a kid. So you have the right to spend that money as however you fucking please. But me as an adult, I just can't. I get that it would be equivalent to me just having this. I'm a content creator. He supports my content and wants to support me by sending me money. I get it. It's the same as like a lemonade stand or some
Well,
shit. If some
yeah.
kid wanted to buy an
Would
ice
you
cream
would you
truck,
not
fine.
allow would you not allow him if you owned a brick and mortar store where you sold video games or something, right?
Yeah,
Would you not sell to the child?
that is honestly, it's a tough
So what's
question
the
for me.
difference? Like,
It's
what's the
because there
difference
is no because
between
there's no difference. Fundamentally, there's no difference. Like substantially, I don't think there's a difference. My content is my business. Logically speaking, like in that instance, my content is a business, just like running a brick and mortar store is my business. And if a child wants to come in and spend money, they have the right to come in and spend the money. And it's not a problem. But in this particular instance, because the content I'm selling is not individual stuff, but the content is me. I'm the product. I don't feel right selling myself to a child. You get what I
that's a
mean?
way to put it, right? That's
I,
a way to
I,
put it.
I
I don't know. I'm gonna push back against this because, while yes, you are the star of the show, um, you are making a show, right? You are making a show, and you need donations to support yourself to continue to make that show. So it's not selling yourself, right? I don't think you're sexualizing yourself to children, right? But well, if you are, cut that shit out. But assuming
yeah,
you're not, assuming you're not, I don't know if it's necessarily wrong to say, hey, children in my audience enjoy my content. They want to see me play Minecraft and video games. Okay, if they want to spend money, that's cool, right?
it is. I agree. Logically, I agree, but my gut tells me no.
Hmm.
Something in me just says no. Logically, you're 100% correct. But my gut, again, I told you, there's no logical basis for this argument. So you can take it with a grain of salt. but my gut, it's my gut. Something in me is repulsed by that, by a kid sending me money. Something about that feels just nasty to me,
Hmm.
and I don't know why. It
So
just feels wrong. I don't give a I'm adults can send me money all day, anytime of the week. I'll never turn down gifts and money from adults, but for some reason from a kid, I guess it's because I don't want to be in proximity to a child. I don't
hmm.
want anything from a child. I don't want anything to do with children. And it's just something more visceral in me, something less grounded in logic, and just something in me that just says, keep children away from me. And not because, just to be clear, to anybody who would even think, fucking son of a pedophile or any shit like that, just to get that out the way. For me, it's the same reason why I'll never hit a woman. Even if the woman is hitting me, and I've been in that situation, women have attacked me. I can't hit a woman for no fucking reason. I have no logical reason for it. I
What
can't
about a
swing on a
kid?
woman.
Say a 16-year
I
old kid
can't.
was trying to beat the shit out of you, okay?
I can't hit a kid either.
What if they're a
I can't.
big kid? I've seen, look, I've known some
I know.
big
I know.
ass
There's some big ass
teenagers.
16. There's some huge 16-year-olds out there. Bigger than me. I met one back when I was in Quantico, Virginia. I was like, so I'm just 16. He towered over me. So I don't know if I think I'd be able to override my disgust of hitting a child. And the motherfucker towered over me. I think I could override it then. But again, there's no logical basis
Fair
for
enough.
this repulsion. It is just something in me that says no. I don't know what it is. But that's it. That's my standard. And I'm not faulting anyone for not holding that same. That's why I want to be clear that I always leave the caveat out that I know my standard is weird. It's not grounded in any kind of logical basis. It is just my personal beliefs. I am not going to hold you to it because, again, I don't have a logical argument for it. I don't. It's just how I feel, and I'm not going to expect anybody to do on that one. That's if I'm making sure, that's how shit's going down.
Wait, so
Sorry.
you wouldn't judge someone? Okay, so what if you had an adult streamer, some 20, 30-year-old guy who exclusive and they weren't doing anything sexual, right? No
Right.
sexuality, anything, but they exclusively made content uh targeted towards teenagers, right?
Right.
12, 13, 15, etc., right? Exclusively that was their content. They offered money, right? They offered, like, if you are a tier 3 sub, you play the newest video game with me and we can be friends, right? You wouldn't judge that. You wouldn't judge someone for doing that.
Oh, no, I think I would. I can't stop you. I don't, and I'm not going to say the government should crack down on you, and I'm not going to say even the platform should crack down on you. But I will personally find that disgusting because I wouldn't do that. I guess my standard is I'm not going to hold people to account for shit that I'm doing myself. But if there's something I personally would never do, yes, that's where it is. You know what I mean? If that's where my judgment line is. Is that if I'm doing it, then I'm not gonna say shit. If I'm not doing it, and I have a reason for not doing it, even if the reason is illogical, there's a reason somewhere in there in my brain. I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna look at you funny. I'm like, you're playing with children, dog. You're a grown ass adult. Play with some adults. That's my personal thing. Again, I'm pretty old fashioned, I guess, or weird. No, just like I'll say, a man shouldn't hit a woman, even if the woman is trying to beat your ass. Again, it doesn't. There's no basis for it.
Nah,
It's
man.
it's weird, but
I'm
that's
gonna
just what.
say, if a woman starts hitting me, I'm gonna hit him back. Maybe it's a brave
And,
take, but if
and
they're
that's
punching me in
fine.
the face, I'm not talking like a light slap or whatever, right? Whatever, right?
Yeah, but like actually trying to beat the shit out of
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
like,
I
I'm
get
gonna
you.
stop them from doing that. That will be.
Yeah, yeah. An exception was when I was boxing. I boxed against women sometimes, and that was the only exception I could hit them
Yeah,
over
but
that
that's
because
like a
she was
controlled thing, right? Like, you're in a
exactly.
controlled
Yeah,
area.
you get what I'm saying? It's inconsistently applied though. You would think I would tell my coach, look, man, I'm not boxing a woman. But no, I accept that in this particular instance,
Did you win?
again, it's not logical. It's not. I'm sorry. There's no consistently held logic to this. That's why I can't. Oh, I can't give you a good answer.
Did you win when you were boxing against a woman?
Then I went. I mean, when you count hits, no, she fucked me up. She was throwing hits like a mad woman, just way faster than me. Cause she was smaller than me. She was way faster. So she didn't knock me out. I want to be clear about that. In a point system, yeah, I'd have lost.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No shame. I mean, look, if you put me in the ring with a woman who knew how to box, I would lose too. I don't box, right? I don't do that.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I think that like when it comes to treating women equally, I understand that if they are significantly weaker than me, right, and pose little
right.
to no threat, my response is going to be different. I will still stop them from hitting me because shit hurts, right? But I will do
But
it.
yeah, I will stop someone from hitting me. I'll grab. I can
Yeah.
do grappling. I'm not gonna bare close fist punch a woman. I can't do it.
But at the same time, right, if someone wants to fight me and they're not stopping and I have to throw a punch back to stop them, I don't care, right? I don't
You're
care if they're
throwing
a
that
titty
punch. Huh?
streamer. I don't look. I'm gonna do what I need to do to stop you from hitting me. Okay.
Yeah. Let's tie this back to the topic with regards to equal treatment, right? So men can walk around shirtless, women can't. Women get and I gotta ask you, like, would you allow that? Like, for if a man's on stream without a shirt on, I don't know if Twitch bans that,
No,
but I would think not. That's how I figured. I figured not. I figured men can be on streams, YouTube, Twitch, whatever, without a shirt
I can
on,
get
but women
money
can't.
to take my shirt off on stream. I've done that before. I have a standing rule. If someone donates $50, I'll take my shirt off for a while. And if they donate 50
Let
more
me
dollars, I'll put it back on, right? That's
let me
something I've
check
done
my
before.
bank account real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm checking my bank account. Right, see if I got fifty
Okay,
dollars.
yeah, take your time, take your time. No. 50 $50 super chat or $50 in gift subs or whatever, I'll definitely do it.
But I respect that. I respect it.
But there is a difference, right? There is a difference between me taking my shirt off and it may not be fair. It may not be totally 100% equal, but society views topless women in a way that is much
It's sexual.
hypersexualized, in a way that they don't view topless men, right? There is a
Yeah,
difference. And I think we can pretend that it's not we can pretend it's the same, but it's not the same.
it's not the
It's
same.
not the same.
I,
And
I
I have
I've
no
always
problem.
been a yeah.
I have no problem.
Logically, logically, I oppose that double standard. But I understand that, let's be real here, there is a difference. When I say logically, I oppose it because if I wanted to be 100% equal across the board, then it should apply. Everyone should have the same standard. But let's be real, like you just said, let's be real here. It's not the same. And we know it's not the same.
And I think that like we try to flatten things at our peril. We have to
Yeah,
recognize that there are differences, and context matters. And I think that like seeing a man shirtless does not have the same effect on anyone, man or woman, right, as seeing a woman
yeah.
shirtless. Because a
It
lot of
does.
people will say, "Oh, you're just being a this is just a patriarchy," right? I hear that a lot. This is
Yeah,
just a
I hear that a
patriarchy
lot too.
where the male gaze, etc., etc., etc. And there's sometimes when that is the case, but in this case, when it comes to nudity, when it comes to being topless, again, women being topless is not the same as a man being topless. It's viewed by society as different, and it is sexualized in a different way. It does not have the same effect on anyone. And so, at least in the culture we exist in today, I think that
Do
there is
you
very
think
good
we
reasons
should?
to ban one,
Do you think we should
but I
go ahead, go
wouldn't
ahead, go
ban
ahead,
the
go ahead.
other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you. Do you think we should become more as a culture? Like, if you could control the direction our culture goes, do you think we should become more comfortable with women being topless in the way that we are with men? Because I
I
know,
don't
like,
know.
I think it's Germany or France. I can't remember which country. Ben Shapiro made a whole thing about it. I remember it was a while back. I don't remember which country exactly. They gave the green light to women being on the beach on beaches topless. Do you think we should move towards that as well?
I think conceptually I have no problem with it. My problem is how do we get from here to there? And in the journey, I see a lot of pitfalls that I don't like. So the question comes to mind, right? Um, is it okay for an adult woman to show their tits to a child, to a 13-year-old kid? And
Well,
I can't think of very many scenarios where that would be acceptable. I can think of a couple, right? Um, like if you're doing some kind of art exhibit or something like that, whatever.
artistic unity.
No, I think that there is some validity to that, right? To having a painting of a topless woman. Should a 13-year-old be able to view it? I think it depends. There's context that is at play here. Um, However, in general, I would judge a and a lot of women are getting arrested for this now. Um, I I don't know if you watch the news or see any of this, but there are so many women that are basically having sex with their students.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I've seen that.
and
I've seen
and,
a lot of
and
that.
there was a recent one, a woman, a dental assistant, I believe, who was drunk and basically felt up this kid, this 14-year-old kid. Do you remember
Oh, that
this?
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
She I think she was sentenced recently. She didn't go to jail. That's the so when we talk about like double standards, there are more than just one double standard. So to your question of should we move society to a place where nudity in general is not seen as taboo? I again, conceptually, I think it'd be fine. There's nothing inherent about it that I think is a problem. It's just getting us from where we are now to where we want to be is so fraught, and there's really no need for it. It's not oppressive to wear pants, okay, for guys. Instead of having my dong slinging around, slopping around, going a helicopter, I could just put on
Yeah.
pants, and I think
If
that's
anyone said
fine.
if anyone tried to pull the oppression Olympics bullshit about wearing pants, I would also definitely be like, shut the fuck up. You will remain oppressed in your goddamn pants.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think there's nothing inherently like in women wearing a shirt. Look, it's a piece of cloth. It'll be okay. You're not going to die. I think that again, I think it's okay to talk about sexuality, and I think we can talk about sexuality without being sexual, right?
Yeah.
I think that that is entirely possible, and I think that's probably what we should do. I'm okay with sex education in a classroom for kids. I think that's okay. I think it's good actually. But there's a difference between that and titty streamers. Titty streamers are not sex education, right? You may be
They're literally
learning, but
telling
it's
they are modifying sex.
yes, exactly. I think it's this idea of selling it that is the
That's the
problem.
problem.
hmm
Yeah. All right,
Um,
I'm digging. That's
yeah,
all I got.
yeah, that's all I got too. Do you have any other questions on other topics that you wanna ask me while you got me here?
Hmm. Other topics, other topics, other topics. Okay, so I recently made a tweet about this, with regards to just like so did you see the tweet from Joe Cat where he says
Oh
he's just
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
he
He's
says he's just
quitting or whatever.
he's quitting the internet. It just reminds me of the Lindsay Ellis thing too. Like she got ran off the internet too. You know what I mean? It's just we see these good content creators get ran off because they said or did something not even bad for just arguably cringy at worst. I just have to wonder is like, what do we do about that? About these fucking harassment campaigns that run people off the internet who didn't even do anything wrong. do we do about that? How do you counter that? People do just say, "I'm fucking done." They run. They just say, "Fine, y'all hate me so much, fine, I'm out." And then we're just left with the most shameless bastards we could ever imagine on the internet because you can't shame them off. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But the people with shame, the people who don't or don't want to deal with the endless heat that is internet dogpiling, uh, is there any way to even stop that shit? Like the internet lynch mobs that come after people for the crime of being cringy.
And what does that mean, right? So when people say harassment campaigns, I always wonder. I wonder if it's because what that brings to mind is something that's organized, right? That people are
Right.
just like, here, go attack this person, etc. I don't know if in most cases that's what's happening. I think people just don't like what you did. Now,
The
I say that
inorganic incomes.
I,
I get you.
if I may, I say that to kind of answer your question in that I don't think we can or should stop most of this stuff. Like you shouldn't be protected from criticism of your work.
Right.
And that's what it would take to kind of stop that from happening. If you don't want to see criticism of your work, there's a very easy way that's entirely in your control to do that. Block them or simply not look. Right? You can
I
simply not look.
I choose to not look option. I don't block people. I just mute
Yeah.
my tweets. I look back at my tweets where I'm getting dogpiled. I'm like, oh shit, people are mad at me. It's a good thing I'm not looking at it.
And I think that like maybe this is cold, but I always think these like someone getting criticism for your work so you stop doing it, that's weak shit. Grow a pair. Stand by your decisions, stand by your work. If it's cringy, who cares? Be cringe, embrace cringe, cringe away. I'm not talking about criminal stuff. I'm not talking about any of that, right? I'm talking
Yeah,
about like Joe Cat, you should have just told him to fuck off, right? Like, you
yeah.
don't like it, don't watch it, and then carry on doing your thing. And so, yeah, I kind of, yeah, this is gonna come off really mean, but it's true. Um, I just I think less of this guy for allowing
For
it
backing down like that. Just
to make him
letting them
quit.
run them off the internet.
Yeah, I think less of him as a person. Um, again, easy said, harder done. When you're in the middle of a shitstorm, right? You always want to respond. You take it personally, and I, as a content creator, know that this shit gets personal, right? It does. It gets very personal. It can get mean. It can hurt your feelings. But at the end of the day, you let them win if you let someone who's criticizing you make you stop doing your content. And I'll die before I let other people win. But maybe that's just me. So I think that like when it comes to what we should do to stop them, I think the only thing you should do is just, hey, tell your audience, and I'll tell my audience right now, like, look, you don't have to be such a dick to people. Stop being a dick. But I don't think we can legislate that or provide other than the tools that we already give people, like the block button and the mute button. I don't think there's anything additional that we can or should do when it comes to this. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. Again, like I said, I mute my tweets. I, Anything I put out, I mute that shit because I'm gonna say my piece, and I'm gonna keep saying my piece. And there ain't enough people in the world yelling at me that can stop me. You know what I mean? That's because me and you, people like you and I, we're built different. I'm just fucking around. No,
I don't think we are. I think I don't think it's like a. And I'm pushing back against this, and maybe you didn't mean it this way, but I think it's important for my audience to hear. Uh, being able to take criticism is a skill that you can
it's a
learn.
skill.
It is something that you can develop. You may not be born with it, but you can make it so. You can make it a thing. Um, do that. That is far better than running away or
You're running
hiding or quitting. I saw the video he made. It was fine. Nothing
away.
inherently there's nothing inherently, it was kind of silly, right? Not my thing, but it was fine. And anyone giving him hate for it, I mean, that's their right, maybe, I guess. But him being such a crybaby that he just left and quit, man, I don't know what to tell you. Grow up, be better.
I was curious about how you felt about that because I saw that and I was like, wow. I'm like, it was like it just on the one hand, you're right. Grow the fuck up, develop a spine, whatever you want to call it, grow a pair. But on the other hand, there are genuinely a lot of people who are just fucking unhinged about how they handle things that they don't like. You know, I mean, because for me, if I don't like something unless I really don't like you, I'm generally just not gonna say shit. I'm just gonna be like, it's not for me, and move on with my life. No, people online get their mission to let you know how much they hate you and go out of the way to try to make you miserable. Like
Oh, yeah.
they love the dog piling. They love jumping on and hating on you and shit talking you and dunking on you. They're here for the dunks. They love it. They
They want
live
the
for it.
reaction. They
They
want the
want a reaction
reaction
from
that
you.
you get.
They want a reaction from
So
you.
what you get, the way to combat that is to not give them the react. Don't give them the satisfaction, right? Don't
Yeah,
never let them see that you are affecting them, or they are affecting you. Never let them
they
see
are.
that they are affecting you, and just be like, no, just what is it's the the British royal family has a motto, and I think it's a very good motto. Never complain and never explain. Okay, don't don't cry about what you're going through, but don't explain your actions either. Just do what you're going to do. Again, I'm excluding criminality here. I'm excluding
Of
things like
course.
that. I'm just talking about this is the content you make. That said, some criticisms are actually good. Sometimes what you're doing is shit and it needs to be improved. And it's good that
Would you
people tell you that so that you can improve.
would you say that this, in a way,
This
these
type the
type
case
of
with
dogs?
this for Joe Cat or whoever. He did fine, right? I don't think there's anything.
Yeah,
It's
but I
a
was saying,
style thing.
would you say that these type of things? Let me take away the sympathy and say it like this. Then, would you say that these type of dog piles or whatever are a good way to weed out the weak, or to forge someone to
Like a
this is your make or
eugenics
break.
kind of deal.
Yeah, like this is your kind of make or break. This will tell you who's got the chops to keep doing what they're doing, and the people who don't. If you can't take it, you're out of here.
You
You
can't
fucking
stand the
like
heat,
hell.
get out of the kitchen kind of deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, the internet. If I had to describe the internet, it feels like Hell's Kitchen. You know what I mean? Like you come in and you are going to get shit on if for any little thing. If you can't take that heat, get the fuck out the kitchen.
I think it would be nice if the internet was nicer. It would be good. It would be a good thing. And I encourage everyone to be nicer and to be kinder in their criticisms, right? Don't stop
Yeah,
criticizing, but be kinder and be nicer, be more understanding. That said, that's as far as my advocacy goes. I think that when it comes to um, moderation tools or when it comes to like uh, Twitch or Twitter doing something about this, I don't think it's their place.
no. I'm not. I want to be clear to everybody. I'm not asking for that. I don't think
Yeah,
there should be any kind of policy changes to prevent that.
yeah.
No, I think the solution is twofold on the individual, like you said, basically grow a fucking spine, but also on the audiences to be like, if you're going to criticize
Don't be
somebody,
a
at least
dick.
don't
Yeah.
be a dick about it. Yeah, no, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page with that because I was
Well,
wondering.
Rico.
What's up?
Oh no, finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was saying that I'm glad we're on the same page with that. I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah.
because I was wondering. And we're just on the same page. I was surprised to hear you just, flat out say, I think less of a fucking pussy.
I do. I do. Come on, look, because you know what that does. It. We talked about how things have effects outside of your personal space, right? That these things have ripple effects. That just emboldens and encourages them. It worked. It worked. And so that
It
means
did.
nothing succeeds like success. And they're going to, because they did it and it worked this time, it's going to embolden and encourage them to do it more. So you have a responsibility to society to not let these kinds of tactics win.
Amen. Amen, brother.
Rico?
Hey, that's all I got for now.
Yeah.
I've kept the house quiet. My roommates have been pleasant and respectful, and I appreciate that. But I don't want to keep them quiet anymore.
Of course. Rico, thank you for coming. Where can people find you if they want to find you?
Y'all want to find me? Y'all can find me at Rico_rants on Twitter or Rico Rants on YouTube. And I want to be clear, I'm Rico Rants, like with an S at the end, because there's another guy named Rico Rant. Oh, Rico's Rant. Rico's Rants? It's Rico's, like the Rico has an S at the end and then Rants. So a lot of people have told me they got confused by that. It's a thing. No, I'm Rico Rants. Just singular Rico and then plural Rants. The other guy is plural Ricos and plural Rants. That's the difference.
Okay.
That's
Check them out,
that's what you
gang.
call
Go
me.
give them a follow, a subscribe, what have you. But yeah, for now, we're going to let you go. See you later, Rico. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
What a pleasant conversation. Did you guys enjoy that conversation? It's not always fighting. I know that a lot of times I have people on who substantively disagree with me and we argue and things like that. This isn't the case tonight. I didn't know if it would be or not. I suspected that we had similar views, but I wasn't sure. But he reached out and wanted to talk to me, and I thought that was, I haven't talked to him in a while. I like the guy. So I'll have him on, get some content done, right, and maybe kind of talk it out and see if we can't find common ground or help each other understand each other's positions a little bit better. Sometimes that's best to do with conflict, and sometimes it's best to have people with similar veins of thought, similar ways of thinking, kind of come together and to discuss things. Thank you for the shout out. It was fine, lol, uneventful. Sorry that it wasn't yelly screamy. Like it's the holiday season, gang. It's Christmas time. Um, Speaking of Christmas time, I'm not going to be streaming on Christmas or Christmas Eve, but would you guys like me to do something maybe on the 23rd, like a Wickmas or something? Is that something you guys would be interested in? Kind of like a Wickmas special where we just, I don't know, hang out, have some cookies, maybe open a present or two. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Wickmas? Yeah, Wickmas. It's Wickmas, gang. It's on the 23rd, right? I'll wrap something for me and I'll unwrap it, right? I don't know what to tell you. Jenny Burns says, "'Tis the season to have civil disagreements and lead the blood sports to family dinner." Heck yeah. Though, we got some more content coming up this week that's going to be a little more blood sportsy. On Wednesday, gang, on the 20th, I think it's the 20th, right? Pretty sure it's the 20th. Yes, it's the 20th. On the 20th, we are going to be having a debate on AI bots, girlfriend bots, boyfriend bots, things like that. There's also the case of Susu, the streamer, who started an AI porn bot of herself. She says it's to combat the deep fakes and things like that, to monetize that. So we're going to be talking about the ethics of that. Is AI porn bots, AI girlfriends, the future, or is it a dystopian nightmare that's going to destroy us all? That'll be fun. We have some great people coming for that. Portland is Burning will be there, gang. We're going to have Parallax there. Lumi is coming. That will be fun. Haven't had her on in a while. And there's a few others that we have in the pipeline, right? That's gonna come in and give their takes. And it'll be like the last debate stream of before Christmas, right? Because I don't think I'm going to be streaming on Thursday. Probably not going to stream on Friday. But again, if you guys want me to stream on Saturday, I think that's the 23rd, right? Is Saturday? Yeah. If you guys want like a Wickmas special, just let me know. Let me know. Portland is Burning says, "I prefer the term artificial companion." Okay, well, you can prefer it all you like. It is what it is. Let's look at what YouTube got going on. 𝕵𝖎𝖎𝖙, we need to be vulnerable as men. We need to learn how to express yourself. Nerdy Rodent says the ability to give criticism is a skill which many people do not have. That is true. Most people don't know how to take criticism or give criticism, both, right? I know that there are too many people who think any sort of criticism is a personal attack against them. And I get it. I get it. There are times where you just want to celebrate, okay? Where you just want to showcase something that you've done and you're not looking for feedback. That happens, right? Maybe you made a song or a poem or a picture and you just want to show it to people, okay? You don't want feedback. You just want to say, look what I did. Here's the trick though, gang. If you publicize your stuff, the public gets to respond to your stuff. You don't get to decide how they respond. That's not, once you put it out there, it is outside the realm of your control. You don't get to pick if people praise your stuff or diss your stuff. Okay? So, if you put something out there, expect criticism. Expect unwanted criticism. Expect unreasonable criticism, right? That's just going to happen. We need to learn, as an individual, you need to learn how to take unreasonable, unwanted criticism. Because you cannot insulate yourself from this. It's going to happen to you. So you have to be able to deal with it. It's called anti-fragility, gang. The ability to bounce back from hardships. I think that we have done people a disservice when we allow themselves to retreat or shield themselves from any kind of criticism. We've done them a disservice. You do yourself a disservice as well when you do that. The People's Elbow says, the 18 to 34 demographic right now is very fragile. They've been taught that they suffer from all sorts of mental illness. They've been effectively brainwashed in the gender. Okay. I agree with you for the first part. I don't know if I agree with the rest. I don't think it's just 18 to 34, though. I think that there are a lot of older people who are similar. I've grown up knowing people like that. No one likes them. To be clear, no one likes them. They're not fun to be around. They're not fun to hang around or talk to because you always feel like you're walking on eggshells around them. You always feel like you're trying not to offend them, and it's exhausting. I think that most reasonable people know how to not be a dick, and most reasonable people, in order to facilitate that, know how not to take offense at things and know how to give grace if someone accidentally offends. Now, there are bad actors who will purposely seek out to offend you, who will purposely seek out ways to make you angry, to upset you. That's their whole deal. They're trolling, right? That's the original kind of troll. They want to elicit a reaction from you. That's what they live off of, right? And some of them are very good at doing it. I'm not immune to this. But we have to have some self-regulation, some emotional control, okay? We have to be able to take unvalid, unreasonable criticism and not break down over it. And in order to learn to do that, you have to practice doing it. You have to. You have to. I am thankful that I got bullied. Let's call it bullying. I'm grateful that I got bullied when I was younger because it allowed me to learn how to deal with that. It allowed me to be a better person. I am a better person today because of it. Bold take, perhaps, but it's true. I am a better person because I learned how to deal with that. And thus, when it happens to me now, I don't have a breakdown because of it. I don't have to go see my doctor or take my meds or anything like that. I am able to deal with it. Now, that's not to say that I don't have hard times, that I don't get sad or upset, that I don't that I would rather not deal with someone being a bully, right? Obviously, that's true. But here's the thing about life, you can never entirely insulate yourself from that. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I think it bears repeating. We can never entirely insulate ourselves from that. So we have to learn. Now, some people don't learn. Some people only get the negatives from the experience because, well, a lot of reasons, right? But one of the main reasons is because there's a cohort out there, there's a group of people out there telling them that they should never have to deal with that. While correct, they shouldn't have to, they forget that they will. We don't live in a utopia. We don't live in an ideal world. There will be bad things that happen to you. So we must learn to deal with the bad things. Otherwise, when we are tried, when we are tested, we will break, or there is at least a higher risk of us breaking. How to tie this into all of the discussion we just had? Nerdy Rodent says, recognize when criticism is unreasonable and just ignore it. True. True. For me, I try to, when I get criticism, I put it into one of two categories. This is something that I'm not going to do anything about because I don't think it's valid. And then there are some people who have valid criticisms of something I do. We as people need to learn to differentiate these better. There are so many people who will use, oh, that's just invalid criticism. That's just unreasonable, as a shield against actually perfectly reasonable criticism against them. I see that happen all the time. And I think that that happens a lot with the titty streamers too. There are misogynists out there who just hate women. That's true. But I see too many people hiding behind the shield of all criticism against titty streamers are misogynistic, and I don't think that's true at all. That's absolutely not true. I know Twitter is a place for hyperbole and things like that, but it frustrates me when I see people unironically say things like, do straight men even like women? I love women. But I also, right, because I love them, I have expectations, as I would any other person. Because, gang, believe it or not, women are people too. They aren't special. They're people, just like you, just like me. So if I'm going to hold myself and others around me to a standard, you better goddamn believe I'm going to hold women to the same standard. Crazy, I know. Crazy. But for whatever reason, the idea that women are people, radical feminist thought, right, has been turned into some kind of misogynistic thing, okay, by people. Me having that take that women are people just like me, this is seen in some circles as misogynistic. And that, to me, is wild. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But it's something that they've done, I think, pretty successfully in turning this and weaponizing this, right? If you do not give women, like, preferential treat or special... If you don't excuse women from doing bad things, you're a misogynist. If a man was flopping his, like, implied dick out, right, it would be disgusting as well. and something to be age gated, to be moderated by the platform, right? Men don't do it because it doesn't make them money. That's just the world we live in. Average Debate Enjoyer says, just steps away from colorblind race theory right now, which confirms you are a white supremacist. Gang, I'm gonna level with you. Black people are also people, just like me, just like you. We all bleed the same color, red. Is that colorblind race theory? I don't know about that. There are some substantive issues that black people in America face that I do not face, and it would be foolish to ignore that. That said, I think that our guiding star, right, our pole position, our ideal that we strive towards should be colorblind in nature. Absolutely. It's something that we should work towards. And I do worry that when we implement policies based on race, that it only ends up reifying racial stereotypes. Now, again, context is everything here. We have to look at the situation and make our judgments accordingly. But to bring it back to women, right? There is a lot of people who hold them to a different standard than men. And I think that's wrong when they do. I think that the people who going out and calling all women whores and things like that are holding women to a standard they would not hold themselves and they would not hold others. That's wrong. I also think that the people who are excusing all their actions because they're women are also wrong. Is that base centrism? I don't know. Nerdy Rodent says, Wick's wild takes. Is that so wild? Oregon says, wait, is Wick trying to say that women have emotions, brains, hearts, and thoughts just like men do? Yeah, crazy, I know. Crazy. Jenny Burns asks, chat, is Wick enough? Man, Barbie movie was kind of fun. I liked Ken. He was kind of a dumbass, right? But I liked him. And you can't help but root for the guy. But yeah, it was a fun movie. Does anyone else have any thoughts or topics they want me to discuss today? I think we've had a great stream. Can I get you guys to commit to something for me for Christmas as a present? The next time someone tries to run you out of a space, don't let them. Stand your ground. Be stubborn. If you've done nothing wrong and they just don't like you, but you like the space, stay. There's a funny feature that most social media sites have called the block button. And I know certain services have better blocks than others. The Discord block feature sucks in a chat, right? Because you can still see their message, and it takes a lot not to click on that button. I get it. But please, for me, as a present, as a Christmas gift, the next time it happens, that you are feeling like people are trying to drive you out of a space, but you still like the space and you still want to be there, right-click on their name, find the block option, and click that instead of leaving. Could you do that for me? Could you do that for me? Would you do that for me? Average Debate Enjoyer says, next time I am in Wick's home uninvited, I'll remind him of this. It's my home, bro. I have the right to kick you out, just like in my server. Max's Green says, I only wish that worked in real life. I wish it had a real life block button. I'm glad we don't. You guys want to hear another hot take? The ability to control your space has made us more fragile. We now have the ability to limit who interacts with us to such strong degrees that it has made it so that we no longer have to compromise. We no longer have to find a way to work together. We can just block the other person or leave. It's made us weak. It's made us weak. Because you no longer have to deal with the trouble of trying to work with someone that you don't like, or that rubs you the wrong way, or that frustrates you. You could just block them, and you can just leave, and nothing. There's no cost to it, really. 𝕵𝖫𝖎𝖙𝖘𝖍𝖔𝖜 says, you do have a real life block button. It's just more inconvenient. That's the thing, right? You can limit, even like before the internet, before social media and all that things, you could isolate yourself, right? You could still isolate yourself. It just came with a large cost. Now there is almost none. There is almost zero cost to doing that, to isolating yourself in a feel-good bubble where it's all positive all the time. It's all feel good all the time. You're never challenged. You're never inconvenienced. You're never frustrated. You never feel any negative experience. You never have any negative experience, nor ever feel any negative emotion. And if you do have a negative experience, or you do feel a negative emotion, you simply push it away and get rid of it. It has turned us into children. It has turned us into children. Do you know how many people I've talked to that can't handle a phone call? Like, they legitimately get social anxiety from calling a store or the doctor or the DMV. Any kind of like normal interaction that 10, 20 years ago would just be seen as a thing, right? Like, this is just something you do. We have convenienced ourselves into being unable to handle a vocal interaction on the phone, a business interaction on the phone, because there are so many. And don't get it twisted. I love convenience. Convenience is great. But I think we've gone, in some ways, too far with it. I think that it has cost us because it's so easy and so available and so, dare I say, convenient, that we never take the hard route anymore. And I think we've lost something because of that. I think we've really lost something because of that. I think that it's made us into worse people. Unable to deal with each other in a way that I think is healthy. I think that a lot of our problems politically can be traced to this as well. I think that a lot of our problems socially stem from this. The way we have interacted as people fundamentally is changing. Some ways for the better. It's not all bad, gang. The fact that I can talk to you like this right now in front of an audience of tens of people, right? I know there's not a lot of people watching today, but I appreciate everyone who is. Couldn't really do that as easily before. I mean, you could be a public speaker, but there were a lot of hoops you had to go through. There was more accreditation you needed. There's a lot of gatekeeping involved with it, etc. You could still have an audience. It was just much harder to do. Now, any weird dude with a webcam can get up on here and start preaching. And I thank you for that. I like being able to do that. I'm glad that I have an audience. I'm glad that I have people that want to hang out with me, right? Just want to kind of hear me chat, hear me talk, who want to talk to me. That said, there's a lot of negatives that have come with this. To get this good, we've had some bad. And I worry that the bad is slowly outpacing and outweighing the good. We have become a nation, a people, because it's not just an American thing, it's an internet thing. We have become a people that cannot deal with hardship. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you, gang. Gang, are you liking this content? Yeah, Jenny Burns is right. If you're liking the content, hit that like button if you're on YouTube. If you're watching me on Twitch or on Kick, hit that follow button. And gang, if I may, it is the season. It is the season. Okay. My stocking needs stuffed. I would like to have a happy Christmas, a Merry Christmas, if you will. And the more money you give me, the merrier my Christmas will be. So super chats, those are useful. They're helpful. Gift subs, if you haven't subbed yet, sub to the channel. Use your Prime sub, things like that. Drawing bits at me on Twitch also works. Great ways to donate. And I appreciate any donations that you can afford to give. Thank you for the super chats you have given. I try to read as many as I can. I think I've gotten to them all. I don't think I missed one today. So things like that are always helpful. 'Tis the season to go broke. Fa la 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 la. Yeah, I mean, look, we all feel a little broke. I understand. Money's tight. I need gifts for Wickmas. True. I need something to unwrap for my Wickmas stream. Okay. I need something to unwrap. So it'd be nice if I got some donations so I can go out and buy myself something and then reveal to chat what I have gotten. What you, dear chat, have gotten for me. Okay. What do we think about the drama going on? I don't know if you all have seen some of the interpersonal strife that is out there on the internet. Namely, I'm talking about the 𝕭𝑠 President Sunday drama. Extra is now a member. Welcome to Tier 2. A Tier 2 member? Welcome to Tier 2 Extra. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Really appreciate you. Let's get Wick a hot tub. Extra says, you've always been so supportive and you have let me on your platform to debate a few times now, so you know what? You've earned it. Well, thank you, Extra. I appreciate you. 500 bits from 𝐻𝖏𝐻𝖏𝐵. And gang, because of Christmas, apparently on Twitch, if you give me bits over 300 bits, Twitch will add to that. So Twitch has added 50 bits to 𝐻𝖏𝐻𝖏𝐵's cheer of 500. So I've gotten 10% more bits from 𝐻𝖏𝐻𝖏𝐵. Thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. Do you guys want me to cover drama sometimes? Like, I'm going to be real with you. I won't do it often. But if you guys want me to do a little more drama coverage, I think I can in certain cases. There's some drama that I don't want to cover, that I think is bad to cover. I think that when people have, like, legitimately terrible situations go down, like Hunter Avalon did twice this year, I don't think it's appropriate to cover that. I think that shit's a personal thing. They shouldn't be subjected to us holding court about that. But if it's just people getting mad at each other on Twitter, I think that's fine. I think that's fine to cover. 𝕵𝖫𝖎𝖙 says, you should cover drama all the time. It's a moneymaker and genuinely edifying content. I don't know about the second bit, but yes, it does make money. My drama streams have more views than my normal political streams. I just don't like it, gang. I don't like it. I get bored of it. I just don't. I guess no. It's not that I don't like it. It's that I don't care. I don't care if so and so is mad at so and so. I just don't. I'm like, okay, right? Like if Xander Hall doesn't like Shoe on Head, okay, okay, that's whatever. I'm not the like police. I'm not gonna make them be friends, right? Well, why would it matter to me? But it's weird how many people it matters to. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Matt Honeybee says, I have no idea what's going on with drama 99% of the time. True. And every time I try to learn about it, I just get bored and wander off for the most part. Right? But if you guys pay me enough money, I'll do it. I'll do some of the lighter drama. No hot chat chicks tonight, Wick? No, we had Rico on. We just had me. No hot chat chicks tonight. Unless one calls in. As I said, I'm looking for a titty streamer to talk about the new TOS policies. That would be interesting content, I think. I don't want just any ethot though. It has to be one of the more scandalous ones. Okay, I want to talk to them. I want to have a conversation, person to person, if you will. Busy Buller says you should cover drama all the time. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Max's Green says, my response to drama is, and why should this matter to me? Yeah, but a lot of people it does. They get this parasocial attachment. So I get it. Look, there are things that I enjoy that have no benefit to me and then arguably actually hurt me, right? But I enjoy them anyway. I don't judge, right? I don't really like, it's just not my thing. I don't yuck people's yums. Can we talk about this for a minute? Can we talk about joy killers? That's another thing I wanted to discuss today. Joy killers. Do you know what a joy killer is, gang? Do you know what a joy killer is? A joy killer is someone who finds the things that you like, the things that you enjoy, and trashes them, or tries to make you feel shame for liking them. This happens a lot with popular movies, popular games, popular media of all sorts of types, right? There is a cohort who will actively hate on those who enjoy it. There's a lot of reasons this is true. Some people just like to be contrary. They're contrarians. They don't want to be with the mainstream, so they just talk their shit, right? And it doesn't matter what it is. If it's popular, they will talk shit on it. Other people, however, have a visceral hatred of someone enjoying themselves. The more happy you are, the more likely this type of person is to come in and try to shit on you and try to shit on whatever's going well in your life. It is a subset of a troll. I don't think it's necessarily a troll. Some people are just born like this. This is something that's existed prior to the internet. This is something that I've grown up knowing that this type of person exists, right? They will go in, they will see people around them being happy, and they'll try to snuff that out because they can't stand it. Don't let them win either. I know it can be insufferable to deal with them. Insufferable. But don't let them win. I think that's the theme of tonight, gang. Don't let the bad guys win. And to be clear, joy killers are bad guys. Resentment, misery loves company. Yeah, a lot of times. What can I do for you, chat? Gang, friends, countrymen, and women. What kind of content do you want to see more of? What kind of guests would you like me to have more of? Do you want the more contentious streams? Do you want the more laid back streams like today? What do you want? The OnlyFans panel was a W. Yeah, I like that one too. That was fun. But this is the thing, like, it was fun because I had fun guests on, and the topic was interesting. It's hard to get both right, especially during Christmas season. I'm probably not going to stream next week much. Christmas is Monday. I'm obviously taking Monday off. I don't know if I'll be streaming Tuesday, so I might have a Friday show. I'll probably plan for maybe a Thursday call-in stream and then a Friday show, right? What kind of topics do you want to see then? Like, what should I talk about for my first stream after Christmas? I don't know. Nerdy Rodent says a mixture of things because I don't know what I want. Me neither. I don't know what you guys want either. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. So what we got coming up in this week? So tomorrow's going to be call-ins. Something light, something easy. So if you have issues with me or you want to talk to me about something, that's your time to shine. You can join the Discord, you can jump backstage, and I'll pull you in tomorrow, right? I may or may not have a guest caller. We'll see. Or a guest host. We will see. Not Friday. Wednesday on the 20th is the AI stream. What is a Woman AI edition? Where we talk about AI girlfriends and things. So tune in for that. That's going to be fun. Got some great guests. Other than that, we might do a Wickmas, we might not. If you want to know updates and what we're doing, join the Discord. We talk. We hang out. That's where I announce my shit. Follow me on Twitter. At WhickTV is my tag there and handle. Infallible Fowl says, are the guests robots? Well, one of the guests is actually an expert in the field. They have a degree in the economics of dating, and I am not kidding you. They work with Twitter products, right? So it will be interesting to have them on to talk to them. And they will be having some much needed expertise in the discussion. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing either. The economics of dating. It's related apparently to labor markets. I don't know much about it. I don't have a degree in it. They do. So that will be fun. Yeah. Okay. I think we're done here. I think we have exhausted today's interesting topics, and we are going to rate out who are we going to. Let's go to Prem Kai. So remember, gang, when you get there, let them know that this is a hate raid. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the stream. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, come prepared for call-ins. Bye-bye. Thank you again.